Alright. One more video for tonight. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about myself so that you guys can get to know me a little bit more here if you guys want to. I'm gonna go back through some of my probably funniest childhood memories. Sorry, I've been outside all night, so it's making me cough a little bit, but the first one I have, man. So I lived in a neighborhood back in the 90s, and that we had a bunch of neighborhood kids that when we all became friends with each other, and me and my sister and the neighbor kids. And in our backyard at our old house, we had a pasture. And we're walking through this pasture one day. And we're just walking around looking because we didn't know what was out there other than the cows. Like, I wonder what all's down there. And we're just walking around. We're looking and talking with each other. And my sister hears this sound. And she looks at one of the neighborhood kids. Dustin, dude, did you just fart or something? And he said, no, I didn't make a sound. And then another one of us, Nathan, he looks behind him and he goes, oh shit. And we all turn around and look. And there was a pissed off billy goat that chased us all the way back to my house. And we're all just hauling it straight back, making a beeline straight back to that fence, trying to find that gate to climb over and jump back across to safety, pretty much. And we're running, and I jump over, my sister jumps over, Dustin, he jumps over, his sister jumps over, then another girl, Amanda, she jumps over, and Nathan's brother, little Dustin, he jumps over, and then Nathan's on his way up the fence, or up the gate, and the billy goat hits him straight in the ass and throws him over that fence. And we all were just like, oh my god, dude, are you okay? And he was like, I'm not gonna be able to sit down for a week. Cause I don't know what we did to it to make it so angry, but it was just really pissed, man. So that's one of them. And then another one was me and Dustin. We were jumping ramps on bicycles. And we were building our ramps, out of little pieces of wood. And we didn't get any lift off of them. And it's like, we need to find a way to get some air, like we see some of these BMX riders do. And Dustin's like, I got it, hold on. And he goes behind his house and finds a 5 foot wide piece of plywood. We're gonna build our ramp out of this. And we got that thing built up. And I can guarantee you guys, man, it was that high, maybe even higher off the ground. And we're all looking at it. And Dustin's like, I don't think I'm gonna attempt to jump this because this could be bad, you know. And all the other neighborhood boys, they were like, yeah, kind of agreed with you, dude. No, I'm not gonna do it either. I was the only one brave enough to get on my bike and attempt to do this. And so I go all the way around his house, get on my bike, and start pedaling with all I can, man. Just pedaling like crazy. I hit the ramp. I'm good. And I'm like, all right, coming up on the edge of it. We'll have to do a little jerk on the handlebars, get my back tire to lift off the ramp. Well, it lifted off the ramp, sorta, kind of. And then my bike flips end over end like this. And I see it start going down. And I'm like, oh crap. So I just let go and land straight on my face on the ground. And the bike lands beside me. And I was like, whoa. That was close. And I was like, dude, I didn't even know, that I make it anywhere at all. And I was like, I jumped it, right? I made it off of it. And he was like, yeah, you made it off of it, but you didn't stick the landing. This is funny, man. I can't believe some of the crap I've survived that I've done on bicycles. I used to wreck bicycles on purpose to see if I would get hurt. And I did one time, and that was all it took for me to stop being so brave on it. So, what happened with that? What made me stop doing all that, man? Me and Nathan, one of the neighborhood kids, we were riding down my dirt road, and we had this bank off to the left. You could jump the bank, come around to the right, come back towards my house. So he's ahead of me. He's pedaling, and he jumps the bank, comes down the right, starts going back. I was right behind him. I jumped it right behind him, came to the right, started heading back. As we were going back, my front tire got a little too close to his back tire, and he didn't realize this. And so he comes over this way. His back tire clips my front tire and sent my bike down at an angle like this. And the handlebar caught me right in my side and threw me over the handlebar. And I hit the gravel and skidded and stopped. And I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad, Just another bicycle wreck. We know not to do that no more. And then when I stood up, this pain hit me like I had never felt in my whole life. And I grabbed my side, started screaming and crying, and hit the ground. And when we wrecked, Nathan landed on a rock to the left and cracked a rib. But I had this bruise on my side, and man, I had to lay on the couch. I couldn't hardly walk. And I laid on that couch for a week and a half before that finally healed up. And that's what made me stop being so brave on the bicycles, And my dad would never teach me how to ride a dirt bike. And I always wanted me a dirt bike growing up. Like I want me a YZ, Yamaha YZ80. That's what I want. And Dad's like, no, you're not getting it because you can't be so brave on it like you are on bicycles because they can kill you. And he always told me, he said, if you ever get on a motorcycle, like a dirt bike, always be a little scared of it because the minute you think you can handle it and you're never gonna wreck, you're never gonna get hurt, that's when the bike will hurt you the most. So, yeah, there's that. And then one other childhood memory that I have is me and Dustin again. And we're having this cookout at his house. And my mom and his mom and my dad and his stepdad, his sister, and he had a moped. And we were riding it all up and down the dirt road, having fun. And then my mom and his mom were like, let's ride that thing, because they've been drinking a little bit, And they get on it, riding, taking forever. And Dustin's like, I want my moped back. Me and Jeff want to ride it. Which, that's my name. My name is Jeff. And his mom tells my mom, get off this thing. It's like, you want it back? Go get it. And my mom and his mom grab this moped, pick it up, and throw it into a kudzu patch that we had on the side of the road up where you turn in to come into our house. And it was dark. And Dustin's like, "What? Oh my God! This is mine. Why'd you do that? Teach you not to beg me to give you something back when I'm not done with it." And we went out the next day. And we knew they threw it in there. He's like, "Come on, man. We'll go dig that thing out. We'll find it." We looked off the bank into the kudzu. You couldn't even see it. You couldn't even see it, man. It took us a day and a half to get that thing out of that kudzu. Because all that kudzu vine had just wrapped around everything on it. And that's some of the funniest childhood memories that I have. And I've got more. It's just hard to think of them immediately because it's been so long ago. Some of them are starting to fade a little bit. You know, I got one. I got one about my uncle. My Uncle Eddie that passed away in 98 to cancer. He liked to drink a lot. He loved to drink and party, play music. That's what he loved to do. That was him, and he was a big outdoorsman. And he gets drunk one night, or one day, and we had a cat named Bandit. He picks my cat up, petting him and stuff, takes a pair of scissors and cuts my cat's whiskers off. And cat's whiskers are what control its balance. And Bandit was all messed up for like a week before it grows back. I know it's before they grew back, and it sounds kind of mean. He was inebriated. He didn't know what he was doing, and he kept on begging my dad to take him to a place called Panther Creek. And they call that place Panther Creek for a reason. It's known as Panther Creek because it inhabits panthers. And I have seen eyes looking at me in those woods when I would camp down there as a kid. And they're yellow, like a cat's eyes. So anyway, we get down there, man, and when he was drinking and all that, he was loud and just, what would you call it? Flamboyant, I guess. And he somehow, this was in like freaking February, man. Cold as crap. He gets down into a river or a creek or something and lays down in it. Talking about, "Come down here, man. This water is great. It feels so good." And people are walking by, looking at us and looking down there, and my mom and dad are just overlooking him. We don't know what's wrong with him. But my uncle was in the Navy, and he was stationed in Kokalavik, Iceland, for I think it was 3 years, 3 or 4 years, and he said that in that part of Iceland, their warmest day was 24 degrees Fahrenheit in the middle of July. They'd be out. The people that lived there would be out in shorts playing football. And then when it was bitterly cold out there would be snowbanks that were over 6 foot high. He's seen some pretty amazing things. Because he went to Kokalavik, Iceland for 3 years. He went to San Juan, Puerto Rico for 4 years. But he spent most of his station's time in Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi. And he would tell us stories about being over in Iceland, being over in Puerto Rico. And then there was one other time where he went to like Spain or South America or something like that. But yeah, that's just some of my funny memories and a little bit of a story about my uncle. And I just wanted to discuss that before I bed it down tonight. And I hope you guys might enjoy this, maybe. just thought it would be cool to kind of come on and talk about my childhood a little bit. Because, man, back in the 90s, there was no internet, there was no Facebook, there was no way to put your life out there like there is now. Like, you guys have seen the Facebook post, I'm sure, where it says, you know, 90s kids did a lot of things that nobody knows about because back then there was no way to record evidence. Well, there's some of my memories and proves that that post is true. So, everyone take care of yourselves out there. Be safe if the pandemic is still, going on where you guys are. And have a great one. And I appreciate you guys watching.